Good morning from Royal Ascot. It's Gold Cup Day today, also known as Ladies' Day, of course. 70,000 racegoers expected to come here. The sun is already shining, it's already warm. And for England and Wales today, it's going to be hot and humid. For Scotland and Northern Ireland, more cloud and some rain.
Have a look at the weather. Record temperatures, of course, in quite a few places yesterday, Carol, and you're at what looks like a very sunny Ascot today.
It certainly is, Charlie. Good morning, everybody. I'm at Royal Ascot this morning. You can see the grandstand behind me. It was opened actually in June 2006 by Her Majesty the Queen. It's Gold Cup Day today, one of the big races at 4:15, and it's also Ladies' Day. And the weather is actually playing ball today as well. We've got a lot of sunshine around at the moment, and it's already quite warm. And the forecast for the next few days is we'll continue with the heat, but we are going to see a breakdown, a thundery breakdown, as we head on into the weekend. Now, yesterday we had the warmest day of this year so far. Temperatures got to just over 28 degrees in Kew Gardens. Today it could be a bit hotter than that. Tomorrow, widely, we're looking in England and Wales at temperatures way up into the 20s. But for Lincolnshire, for example, the Midlands, East Anglia, the South East, we could hit 33. Possibly 34 degrees, but we still will be in the fresher conditions across Scotland and Northern Ireland. Now getting Charlie.
Carol, that sounds great. Listen, are you going to treat us to a fabulous hat every time we see you? A different hat? Because that one's gorgeous.
Not every time, Naga, but I have got a few. Thank you.
Are you building up to the
favourite?
Are you 4 hats? Are you building up to the favourite?
Yes.
I think this one
That will
is
be the
like
last
a...
one.
Carol, I'm thinking this one is like a satellite dish. Is that the look you're going for?
Well, I wanted to beam back to Salford the pictures from here, Charlie, so I thought I wouldn't take any chances. You never know what the reception's going to be like.
It's a good point. And technology changes all the time, and that's what it looks like now. Carol, we'll see you later on. Thank you very much. It's worth saying we'll be talking about the weather there and how warm it's going to be. We'll be on Eastbourne Beach a little later on this morning to see how people are adapting to the conditions. Very hot in many places.
Is it a fascinator
Where is
or
she?
hat?
Where's
Well,
Carol? Whereabouts is she?
I don't know. I think earlier was halfway between a fascinator and a hat. Doesn't it depend on how it's fixed? I don't know.
Oh, it's much more upright than it was earlier. It was off the side
Well, the
earlier, wasn't it?
satellite dish, as Charlie called it.
You get some great TV right
Carol
there,
has to
can't you?
move it around her head to get the right signal.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
exactly.
we can't speak to her.
Otherwise, if she doesn't face the right way, we're getting rain on Friday everywhere rather than hot weather. Hello, Carol.
After all these comments, you lot are definitely having thunderstorms, that's for sure. My hat is gorgeous. And and it was very last minute as well because I didn't know I was coming. So big thanks to Stephen Jones and Milliner for lending me the hats I've got this morning. But here at Royal Ascot, oh gosh, the sun is beating down already. It's really lovely and warm. As Mike said, it's Gold Cup Day. 4:15 that race takes place. It's a big race of the day and we're standing right next to the winning post. You can see it right here. Now can you imagine the sound of the horses' hooves thundering past this, the roar of the crowd who are watching their favourite horses, and the kaleidoscope of colours, because as well as Gold Cup Day, it is of course Ladies' Day. Now if you're wondering where that term came from, it dates back to 1823 when an anonymous poet described it as such. He said, "When the women, like angels, look sweetly divine." So there you go, now you know. And as I mentioned, it is quite hot here already. Well, I'm going to leave you with this beautiful view. Look at the sky. It's blue, it's sunny, and it's lovely.
Slightly hazy, isn't it, Carol? It looks absolutely... Have you got your suntan lotion on, Carol? Because we're going to be talking just very, very shortly about how to stay safe in the sun. And are you drinking lots of water?
Yes, Naga, to both of these. Thank you for your concern, but yes, I am.
Good.
And have.
And get some shade as well. Stand in the shade whenever possible, Carol. Take care. We'll see Carol later with more fabulous hats, hopefully. Carol's at Ascot for us this morning. Oh, here's another fabulous hat, Carol. I prefer this one. I think it might get a better signal for us when you're giving us the forecast.
It could also be used as a spear, Naga. You notice the shape of it. But that's another story. Good morning, everybody from Royal Ascot. It is fabulous here. Look behind me, and you could a minute ago see the horses, but there's some coming out now. You can just see them coming out. They're going to be exercising, stretching their legs before the main event later on. It's Ladies' Day, of course, today. 70,000 racegoers are expected to attend because it's also Gold Cup Day. That takes place at 4:15, and the winner of that race will pick up £283,550. Now, over the 5 days, 300,000 racegoers are expected to attend, and today, certainly weather-wise, it's hot and it's sunny, and it's going to turn increasingly humid as well.
Well, thanks so much. Lovely hat, by the way, and the signal was much better, so well done.
Thanks, Dagger.
And we can speak to Helen Catt, who's there for us this morning. Well, what a beautiful, tranquil scene it is there, Helen, but I dare say things not quite so calm when it comes to the politics.
Yeah, morning from the banks of the beautiful River Exe here in Tiverton. As you said, this time next week, people here will be voting in that by-election, which came a bit out of the blue after the former Conservative MP here, Neil Parish, resigned. He was seen watching pornography in the House of Commons. Now, this is a pretty large constituency. It runs right down to the coast, and I've been out talking to people about what they'll be thinking about when they go to the polls next week. Martin, thanks very much. So, it's an unexpected by-election, potentially big consequences. There's going to be a lot to watch here this next Thursday.
Fiona Lambden is in Eastbourne with some tips on... Oh, wow, that looks lovely. Now, if you want a tip on how to stay safe in the sunshine, well, here's an obvious one. Fiona, this is a tough gig for you this morning.
It is, and this lot have already been for a fantastic swim, and I can tell you, it is so warm. It's 15 degrees. But coming over to you, Dee, actually, we need to be careful. It still could be dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. So with the water temperature still only being about 15 degrees, when people run really fast into the cold water, it can produce a shock effect. So just get in really slowly when the water's still this cold.
So go slowly. You've been for a swim this morning. I hope you don't mind me saying you're 60. You look amazing. It must be the cold water that keeps you so good. What was it like this morning?
Oh, it's just glorious. It's such a perfect morning, and having swam all the way through the winter, it's just brilliant to come now because it feels so lovely and warm.
And you're used to it. So Dee, just last tip, if people get into trouble, what do they need to do?
So the most important thing is that we stay afloat. So adopting the float position with
As
your
they're showing
arms
us behind us.
outstretched, with your chin up, looking up and taking some nice gentle breaths and remaining calm.
Brilliant. Well, now the news, the travel, the weather, wherever you're watching breakfast this morning.
Outdoors in Eastbourne. Look at that. It does look lovely, Fiona. Morning to you.
Good morning. Yes, we are literally in the sea, and it is very warm. It is 15 degrees this morning, but you do have to be careful. Let's come over and talk to Gabby from the RLNI. This lot have been here. They've been swimming all morning. They are used to it, but tell us, you do think people have to be careful if they're not used to swimming in the sea?
Absolutely. So although the temperatures are rising, the water still remains dangerously cold, and there is a risk of cold water shock. It's really important people understand that the cold water shock can have on you. It can increase your heart rate, it can increase your breathing. So enter the water slowly, acclimatise, and it is under 15 degrees Celsius at the moment, so it's still very cold.
So what should people do if they get into trouble?
If they get into trouble in the water, remember, float to live.
So we can see that going on just behind us.
Absolutely. Lay on your back, use your arms and legs to float, and just gently resist that urge to thrash around, calm down, control your breathing, and then you can call for help or swim to safety if possible. But remember, float to live if you get into trouble.
Well, they're demonstrating that beautifully. And just up the coast, we can see Beachy Head up there behind us. Some of the cracks, so we can see some pictures actually, because some of the cliffs are beginning to crack. What advice for people walking on, out and about?
So if you're heading to the coast, it's really important to plan your journey, understand the risks of the environment that you're heading to, stay back from the cliffs, and if you're heading to the coast, please go to a life-guarded beach, and in any coastal emergency, call 999 and ask for the Coast Guard.
Brilliant. Well, let's come over to Lynn. Lynn, you've also got lots of advice for us. First of all, how much should we be drinking in this heat?
That's really difficult to tell. We know it's a lot more, and everybody's requirements are different, so make sure you drink plenty of water. Please stick to water rather than alcohol. Water is much better for you. You'll have a good idea as to whether you're drinking enough if you go to the bathroom and you'll see that your urine is a nice pale yellow colour. Keep an eye on children if they're not going to the bathroom as often as normal. I know it might be because they're excited to be playing outside, but just keep an eye on it and make them drink on a regular basis.
And sun cream, you've got a little bit of a you can show us.
Lovely sun cream. The easiest thing is with the sprays, particularly with children. Spray it on nice and thick, rub it in. Don't worry if it's rubbed all the way in or not. At least factor 30, factor 50 for the face, avoid your eyes, and don't forget to keep reapplying it when you've got wet.
Brilliant. OK, well, let's just come over quickly to Lucy, who is 11. You are actually a trainee lifeguard as well as swimming here every week. You started in March this season. What's it like this morning compared to March?
It's quite cold in here, but it's also a lot warmer than March.
And you've got a lovely thick wetsuit. Well, you're off to school in a minute, but can't think of a better way to start the day.
Yeah, it's really nice having a swim in the morning.
What's your first lesson?
I'm not sure.
Brilliant. Well, we'll let you get off to school. Before we go, I just want to show you, I'm just going to show you something very quickly. These swimmers, when they get out, they've got breakfast. But look at the choice. We've either got some chocolates or some very healthy sort of muesli. So yeah, these swimmers have been here all morning. Really important, apparently, that they get some sugar in them after being in the cold water. But yeah, what a glorious day. But if you're out and about, make sure you stay safe.
Are all those chocolates safe in your hand, Fiona?
They are actually a little bit soggy now because the tide has been coming in as we've been talking, and I keep moving them up the beach so they don't get wet. But yeah, they're very safe in my hand, and I'm sure they'll be consumed very quickly by these wonderful people who've been with us all morning.
Yeah, thanks to all of them for joining us this morning as well. It looks lovely down there. Thanks, Fiona.
But it's not just about the racing, it's the battle of the hats.
Yeah, it's the style.
Fascinators.
It's all about the style.
How do you think? Would you go up against Carol in a hat?
No. No
one would go up against any
like a beautiful bird, I think, this morning. The cockatoo hat, isn't it, this morning?
Well, we'll see what's coming up in just a moment, but I
was thinking more of a chicken.
What?
Carol's at Ascot. Here's a gorgeous view for you over the racecourse. Carol's there somewhere.
I am indeed, Naga. Good morning, everybody. What I'm showing you is the different ways that you can enjoy Royal Ascot. What we're looking at now is the Heath, which is less formal. The dress code's less formal, and actually people arrive at 8:30 in the morning to set up their picnics. They still get a good view of the racecourse, and I'm told that today the going is good to firm. You can imagine the horses thundering up there, the kaleidoscope of colours from all the fashion that Mike was talking about as well. And Her Majesty the Queen has 3 horses racing today. One in the Britannia Stakes at 5 o'clock, that's Saga. One at 5:35 in the Hampton Court Stakes, that's Reach for the Moon, and Tactical in the Buckingham Palace Stakes at 6:10. And if Her Majesty does attend, we don't know yet, of course, she'll be in the Royal Box just behind me there with other attending members of the royal family as well. Now, it's gorgeous here this morning. It's already hot. The sun is absolutely beating down, and it is going to get hotter.
Lovely to see you there, Carol. Are you having a good time?
Oh, it's fabulous, but I will tell you something I forgot to mention is that the pollen levels are high or very high almost across the board away from the north of Scotland today. So we're all a wee bit sniffly here this morning.
I'm very sniffly. I'm thoroughly sympathising with anyone who has hay fever this morning. It's difficult. Carol, take care. Thank you as well to your camera person for those gorgeous views as well. Hazy blue sky.
It is a grand scene, as it is grand. To bring us all details of the weather, and Carol, that is a hat that is hard to ignore, if I just put it out there right from the top.
Oh, sure. Thank you very much, Charlie. It's keeping out the sun, which is great because we've been squinting here all morning. The sun is so bright, it's really hot already. And of course, it's Gold Cup Day here at Royal Ascot and Ladies' Day. Now, we were talking about the colours. Traditionally, you see a lot of black and white, as in the ilk of My Fair Lady. This year, there's been lots of pastels, there's been lots of florals. And being Ladies' Day, we're expecting some high fashion later on, not just from the ladies, but from everyone. I'm standing right next to the winning post, so you can imagine what it will be like here later on too. And it's going to be hot and it's going to be humid. And Naga and Charlie, the pollen levels, my goodness, they're high or very high today, almost across the board, except for across northern Scotland.
Thank you very much, Carol.
Getting through loads of tissues, Carol. I hope you're keeping snivel free.
Thanks, Naga.
Let's go straight over to Ascot. Carol's there with the weather and with a fine selection of hats this morning, Carol.
Thank you, Charlie. Good morning from Royal Ascot. The temperature here at the moment is 17 Celsius, and shortly, 10:30, the gates will be opening to the public. Now, the royal procession doesn't actually arrive until 2 o'clock, and when it does come, it moves along the straight mile, the racecourse, comes all the way in here and ends up in this parade ring. And behind me here you can see the first. In there is where you find the winning horse will circle around with its owners and also the jockey and its trainer. It will cool down before eventually the jockey and the owners and the trainers go into the ring here and they pick up the trophy that they have just won. Now, it's already hot here, as I mentioned. It's 17 degrees, there's not a breath of wind, and the humidity today is going to continue to rise. So the forecast for today is one of heat and also rising humidity across England and Wales in particular. Scotland and Northern Ireland, something a little bit cooler for you. And then we see it all break down as we head into the weekend. So first thing this morning, there's a bit more cloud across northern and western Scotland and also the northwest of Northern Ireland. Move inland, we're back into the sunshine, and there will be a fair bit of sunshine to start. Brighten up the sunshine, just a few showers in the north, but it will be the heat across England and Wales that will be the story. Widely, we're looking at the mid to the high 20s. Locally, we could even see 30, 31, 32. In the southeast, we might see 33, possibly a little bit more. But if you're heading to the beach, it's worth noting that across the southwestern Wales, there will be a bit more cloud coming in through the course of the day. And pollen levels, Nugget and Charlie, well, once again today, for most, they are high or very high away from the far north of Scotland.
Carol, it looks so good up there. Thank you so much. Now listen, I'm sure you'll tell me off for remembering this. I thought you were going to have 4 hats.
I was, but we decided just to stick with 3. Less is more. But can I show you the back of this one?
I always think the back of your head looks much better.
I know, I thought I'd do that for you as well. Just get rid of my face.
Carol, I love you. I'm scared when I see you next. Okay, so it is beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. See you, Carol.
There's an audible ouch.
Do you know what?
An audible ouch, wasn't
As soon
there?
as I said that, our guests, Sarah Dallin and Karen Woodward, Banana Rama fame, of course, just went...
Brutal. You only say that sort of thing to your best friend, though.
Good point. Very diplomatic of you. Where are you on hat etiquette? Last time you wore a fancy hat?
Probably in the Do Not Disturb. Oh, gosh. Coming up in the new video. I just saw it. We are wearing hats.
Are we?
Again, I'm not sure they suit me.
See, I don't mind a floppy straw hat, but there are many hat mistakes I've made throughout our
Well, the nation is just about to come up with a verdict on whether the hats work or not, because we can see it now. This is the new single. This is the video for the new single.
Yes,
Did you see it?
is.
Is it Masquerade? Yes.
Yes,
Let's have a look.
It is.